Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, that is a very beautiful bhajan, Mohandas Prabhuji. Nice, thank you so much. So which chapter are we in, and what did we learn yesterday?
Chapter 15, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yoga of the Supreme Person.
Yes, very nice. So what was the concept all around? What was the broad?
The banyan tree, opposite banyan tree.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Material world is described as the upside
Reflection.
down banyan tree.
Yeah, thank you so much. Perfect understanding of the concept. So then we can dive in. Before we start, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopishu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhamusute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna.
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
We saw the yoga of the Supreme Person, and let's pay our obeisance to Shri Radha Govinda. We saw how we can, how the banyan tree, which you already told. So it's a banyan tree. It's a reflection of the spiritual world, and it is upside down. So what should we do? Will we stay here? Should we continue to jump from one to another? So that is what is discussed in 6 to 11, right? So what do we actually do in 5 points between 5.6 to 11? What is that? What do you mean by transmigrations? Hare Krishna. I'm asking you. What do you mean by transmigration?
Jumping from one tree to another tree.
Thank you, Arun. Yes, you jump from one tree to another in different body forms based on your desires, right? Oh, I gave the answer. Okay. So, therefore, we have to actually, cut ourselves from here with dash. How do we do? With
Detachment, Mataji.
yes, thank you so much, Prabhu. With detachment. And this is based on the reflection. What is it based on? Like how a upside down banyan tree, the media is water. Here it is on the basis of dash.
Desires.
Desires.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So nice. So yes, it's all on the basis of desires, and the desires are so unlimited that we never cross at all, right? We continue to be here. So today we're going to see 12 to 15, which is Purusottama Yoga, Krishna's position as a maintainer, and 16 to 20 is Purusottama Yoga, the 3 shloka, which I already told you. 16, 17, 18 is going to be similar in terms of the concept to the which one? To which 4 shlokas?
Chapter 10 and
10.
9, 10, 11.
No, 10 no.
10.
Chapter 10, verse
Chapter 10. 9, 10, 11, 12.
8, 9, 10, 11.
8, 9, 10.
Sorry,
Yeah.
8, 9, 10. Yeah.
So Purushottam Yoga, the 3 shloka of Bhagavad Gita, here they are summarized, right? So we will read the 10th shloka also, and we'll read this shlokas also when we get there. So first we finish Purushottam Yoga, where Krishna's position is maintained. That is maintained. Quickly, 1 to 5, a quick revision. detaching ourselves from the material world because it's a reflection, and we already saw that. Okay, this is nice. So this banyan tree, who is on the upper branches? Who's sitting on the upper branches?
Brahma.
Brahma
Upper
is the root.
branches.
Ganesha.
Brahma.
Yeah, Brahma is there, but besides Brahma, who are all sitting? Because Brahma is sitting actually
Ganesha.
the edge. So,
Ganesha. Saraswati.
Saraswati.
Demigods.
yes, thank you so much. Yes, Ganesha, Saraswati is right, but the answer I was looking for is demigods, right? So that's in the mode of.
Goodness.
Goodness.
Thank you, Arun Prabhu. Prabhu, I really have to, stretch my ears to hear you. I have to do a strong ear dropping. You have to raise your voice. Thank you. So the middle, the center part of the branch. So who are all situated, and it's in which mode?
Mode of action.
Okay. And the bottommost branch.
Mode of ignorance.
Mode of ignorance.
Nice. So which animal do we represent in the mode of passion?
Lion. Tiger, lion.
Yes, tiger, lion, cat, dog. Mode of ignorance?
The snake.
Snake.
Yes, thank you so much. And mode of goodness?
Cow.
Cow.
Yes, perfect. So mode, that is cow. So animals also have a same concept. So in the mode of ignorance, what kind of people will come? We are clear on the animal planet, so we are coming back to the human. So what kind of human beings will come under the lower spring?
Tamasic people who have fear, hatred.
Drug addicts. Drug addicts.
Yeah, true. Okay, only drug addicts.
Alcohol. Addiction.
Hare Krishna. Is Supriya Mataji?
Addiction to anything.
Okay, so he is a drug addict. He is an addiction. So who else?
Lazy, people who are
Just
lazy.
switch off the charge. Other than that, who else? No, answer is correct. But other than that, so typically all of them who are not following the basic Vikarmik, right? So all of them will come under this category because, sorry, not able to put it on charge. So all the Vikarmik categories will come under the lower base, right? So that is what is important. And the mode of goodness we saw, mode of passion, mode of ignorance we saw. So who is in the mode of passion? So who are those who will come under the mode of passion?
Kshatriya.
Sorry?
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya is perfect answer, but today in today's world, you tell me, Prabhu, we don't
Rajas Guna.
Rajas Guna,
Rajoguna.
mode of passion, but who? Which category will come? Who are those? What will they do?
Businessman, Mataji.
Yes, business magnets. Thank you so much. So that's the perfect classic example. So in this tree, the fruits represent what?
The action, the fruit.
The senses.
Fruitive action. Fruitive action.
Fruits represent, Prabhu, your voice is very soft.
Fruity
Fruitive
activity.
action.
Fruitive
Fruitive
action. Yes. So what are those fruitive actions? Not just fruits. Fruit means not fruitive action. There are fruits represent specifically something.
Mataji, the desires which which are attached to this material world.
Happiness.
Yes,
Unhappiness. Misery.
Okay, but fruits need not be bad fruits. No, fruits can also be good. So
Yes.
the
economic
Happiness.
development.
relating. So what do the fruits? The fruit represent 4 things. So what are they? It's there in the picture also.
Economic development.
Fruitive action.
No, someone told the answer. I missed who told.
Fruitive action.
Fruitive action,
Economic
okay, is one.
development.
Fruitive action is one.
Sense
But exact,
gratification.
sorry, Mrinal?
Yeah. Economic development.
Perfect. This is what I was expecting. Economic development.
Then this.
So those, what are the 4?
Resource.
Economic development. So the 4 things.
Resources.
Huh?
Then sense gratification.
Yes, sense gratification. Perfect. 2. Can someone help her also? 2 more.
Religiosity.
Yes, Prabhu.
Religiosity.
Religion. Okay. Religiosity.
Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha.
Thank you so much, Anibal. perfect. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? So these are the four things, which means, right? Dharma means religiosity, artha, kama, moksha. So artha, we are talking about economic development. Kama is sense gratification, moksha is liberation, right? So, and on the left, on one side of the banyan tree, there is pious activity, and the other side we have impious activity. So this is the broad things which you need to know, and it's the upside down banyan tree. Now, the leaves represent what? What do the leaves represent?
Vedic hymns.
Thank you so much. Yes, Vedic hymns. And what do? We jump from one branch to another, right? Because the banyan tree is upside down. So the twigs represent what?
Sense objects.
Superb. Twigs represent the sense objects. So we have to cut, right? Asanga, right? So we have to detach ourselves with all this. From all this, we have to detach. So this is what we saw, right? The what do you call the anatomy and the physiology of the banyan tree we saw. Now, section B also we saw how we can transmigrate, and Goloka Vrindavan has no current, electricity, power supply, sun, moon, and all that. But yet we all decided we will go there, right? Senses are very difficult to control. Plus, the mind is the head of senses, right? It's called the king of senses. That is also difficult to control. So there is constant jump from one body to another. And just like the analogy given here is just like how air carries aroma, right? So is what the entire body is carrying, right? From one to another. So what we should know is we need a Dhira to give us Vidya. So which is what is said in the 11th mantra of Isha Upanishad, right? Vidyam cha yastadvedo vayam saha avidyayam ritum tirtva avidyayam ritum ashnute, which means you need to have a lot of just not spiritual, not material knowledge is not sufficient. Spiritual knowledge is not sufficient. You need both, is what is clearly summarized, right? So we're on to the section C, which is Purusottama Yoga, where Krishna's position is that of a maintainer, right? So we are going to see from now. So how does he maintain, right? So we all know the Brahma Samhita starting, right? Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana, which means he's the first, he's the last, and he's all of it, right? So we know all this, and what is happening is we know Krishna as the supreme maintainer, and from here on we will move. Just 1 second. So this is the concept of Krishna's stuff. So therefore, wait, someone read this 15.12, then I'll explain. Hare Krishna.
The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fires also from me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So he's saying that whatever comes from the sun or from the moon, right, is all from him. So there was this Panchopashana, the first concept of forming, right? So people believed in the initial days, they believed, that the sun, was very important, right? So 5 things emerged. So the first thing which came, the first 2 things which came is nature and sun, right? Because they felt that is what gives everything, that gives crops. So they started praying sun. So the process of evolution, right? So this is called the Panchopasana theory, which they used to follow, many in the beginning. So that's one set of people who followed that. So the splendor of the sun also is coming, and the sun is considered as the eyes of Krishna, right? Splendor of the moon. So that is also considered as another eye of Krishna. And Chaitanya is always considered as the moon, and people around him are the stars. So now this is a beautiful verse. So you can see that Krishna 15.13. Gama Vishya Bhutani Arayami Aham Ojasa Kushnami Chaushadi Sarvaha Somaba Bhutva Rasatmataha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I enter into each planet and by my energy thus stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables.
So we all know this one too, right? Gravity is a very important force. It keeps our planets orbiting the sun, ropes, and our galaxy together. So if I drop something, right? So if I'm going to drop this particular thing, what makes it fall is gravitational force. We've already studied, right? So we studied this through Newton. Newton explained this so beautifully. But was gravity there even prior to Newton, or it came only after Newton was born?
It was there prior.
Yes, so just that he gave the concept more clear. So we are talking about here, but then what really spins, right? We are talking about the Navagrahas, right? Which means the 9 planets. How do they, how do they rotate? Who's holding it? Like, how is it going about? How does it go? Who controls all this?
Salute the Krishna.
Yes, very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. You're speaking like a devotee. That's nice to hear. So it's all because of Krishna, right? You may call 100 and the way they spin is they spin multi-directional, right? So they spin around the axis and they also revolve, right? And many of them keep doing like this, but not once also we clash, right? If we even try to do with our hands, see, just now when I was trying to give a demo, also my one finger hit another finger. So that's the situation we are going through. But look at the, how beautifully they are rotating. There is this invisible thread and that's really holding it so tight, right? So that's the beauty. So now we are going into, us, right? So there are 2 concepts here. So if you see Krishna's position, this is in the cosmic world, right? So this is about sun, moon, and the planets and all that. So this is external. That is 12 and so 14 and 15. What he is going to talk is about us, right? So how it is going to have an impact within us. So 14 we'll see. Hare Krishna. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deha Ashritah Pranapana Samayuktah Achami Annam Chaturvidam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji. I am the fire of digestion in every living body, and I am the air of life, outgoing and incoming, by which I digest the 4 kinds of foodstuff.
Hare Krishna. So we all know fire is yes for Krishna, but did we even imagine? See, there are 4 types of food: the one which we swallow, the one which we chew, the one which suck, and the one which we. I always don't get this: swallow, chew, suck, and the semi-solid. Yeah. Okay. So the one which we chew and the one which is like little semi-solid, which we try and observe. Right. So these are the 4 things. And every time I do this chapter, anyone from Hyderabad, I always ask this. This is like the mango. There is one mango called rasal, which I'm not too sure if it is available in other parts of India. So this mango is full of juice, right? So the way in which we take this is we make a hole and we will suck it. It's like fresh pulpy juice. You can't cut it. It is always in that semi
Liquid form.
liquid state. So it's a very tasty mango. So I always, that's one of my favorite food. And it's very filling, right? So that is the, thanks. So that is the speciality of that. So this is, so how does it work, right? The food in the stomach, how does it get digested? It is by the fire in the belly, right? We use the word fire. If you see Ayurveda also, they actually recommend that we don't take too hot, nor we take too cold, because the extreme temperature, we only take whatever is the outside temperature, because the extreme temperature can disturb this in the stomach, right? So Ayurveda is about life and it's one of the Vedas. It's an ancient Veda, and it does explain as to how the fire in the stomach really have an impact, right? So I think the 4th, the next one. So this is one thing, and therefore this is also there. So if you see there is any digestion problem or any problem, it is only because of the fact that the fire in the belly is like completely disturbed the whole stuff, right? So there is some problem here, and that is what leads to indigestion. So which is also scientifically proved, right? So this is what is the explained so clearly. So Krishna externally acts as the sun, moon, right, illuminates the cosmic world. He also maintains the world, right, the orbits around cosmically. Internally, he does this, and let's see what he is. And this one, I want a few of you all to chant after I finish chanting. You can see and chant, but given a chance, please learn this because this is so meaningful. It's so meaningful. I will start chanting Hare Krishna. Sarvasya Chaham Sannivishto Matta Smriti Jnanamapohamsa Vedescha Sarve Aham Eva Vedyo Vedanta Krit Veda Vid Eva Chaham. Hare Krishna, I'll just explain this and please, I would want others to chant too. I'm seated in everyone's heart. Kriti means heart, right? And from me comes remembrance. Atha means from me. Smriti, remembrance. Jnanam, knowledge. Apoaham, forgetfulness. Vedescha, by all the Vedas I am known, right? Vedescha, Sarve, Sarve means everything. Aham eva Ved, I'm known, right? I'm known by all the Vedas. Vedanta Krit means I'm the compiler of Veda. Vedanta Vid, knower. Eva Chaham, right? So this is what it says. Can I have 5 of you all or few of you all to chant this shloka? You can see and chant Hare Krishna. And then I'll explain what this means. Hare Krishna. You can see and chant. Please start.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sarvasya Saham Hridi Sannivisto Mattaha Smriti Gyanam Apohnaham Cha Vedasya Sarvair Aham Eva Viddo Vedanta Krid Vedavid Eva Chaham. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna, anybody else would like to chant?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please go ahead.
Sarvasya chahum hrudi sannivisto mattah smatir jnanamapohanam cha vedasya sarvarahameva vedyo vedanta krut vedavideva chaham.
Very nicely.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Yes. Anybody else? No Prabhus want to chant in the morning?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, sir.
Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto mataha smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedascha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid evam eva chaham. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Sarvasya chaham hidi sannivisto mattas smitir jnanam apohanam cha vedasya cha sarvaira aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Anybody else or I can explain? Okay. So beautiful, right? So Veda is, so that one. So what is special? Why does he specially highlight? You know, first when I read this, I was wondering why he says, I'm the compiler of Veda and I'm the knower. Obviously, if he compiled, he'll know, right? So then I remembered, and I'm sure you all can relate this, right? Anytime during the exams, we write. And the first thing somebody asks, how did you write? I have no idea what I did. I don't even remember a single thing what I did. Yes or no? Has it happened to you all? It's happened to me. I've checked with a few. I have heard a few answers.
Yes.
Yes. After the exam, we
Mataji.
forget everything.
Yeah, we won't even know what we have written. Forget about what the question is. I wrote something here. I have no clue on what only I did. Right? So why I'm saying is Vedanta with, right? So that's the beauty, right? So he is not only the compiler, but he's also the knower. So it's not that he just wrote and forgot like us, but he remembers. This is a very, very beautiful verse. And now I'm going to talk about remembrance. All of you know remembrance is a very important point, especially after COVID. Many of us are like sort of forgetting few things here and there. So there is a lag between mind and the tongue. But this remembrance is given by Krishna, right? And knowledge. So everybody says, I'm not that knowledgeable. Let's all be very factual. None of us know Sanskrit in this, at least most of us know, right? And none of us knew what Bhagavad Gita actually meant, the true meaning. Even after the 18 days close, our understanding of Bhagavad Gita is very different from the level 2. Yes or no? Do you agree with this or you have a different view?
Yes, Mataji, we agree.
Right? You see, I will give an example of Arun Prabhu and Sham Prabhu. Both of them, if you see before touching the 6th chapter, that too in level 2, right? So they've already done level 1. They were both keen on Ashtanga Yoga. And I still remember Arun Prabhu, before the chapter, he got enlightened and he dropped. And through the middle of the chapter, the Sham Prabhu backed off. Now also, after finishing the 13th chapter, as we entered, right, the moment we finished the Bhakti Yoga, it is so powerful, right? So Sham Prabhu was telling that, no, I will be here. Someone has to be there in the material world. And what did we all decide? Okay, we'll go to Goloka Vrindavan and then we will send another visa and a ship or a flight to aboard Sham Prabhu next time, right? This is what we were thinking. But what happened? How Bhakti, just the 6 chapters of Bhakti transformed him. And I think 13th chapter end, the first thing he told is, no, Mataji, I'm also coming. So this, by hearing, Shunu, right? Nothing we've done, we've only listened. So can you understand the knowledge which we have got? Knowledge is not about just Bhagavad Gita as a chapter, but just imagine our transformation. What kind of a transformation we are seeing people right before our eyes. We have Arun Prabhu saying that yoga is good, I've been following, and then changes and tells that yes, but that's more physical. And huge means connecting to God, that one. And Sham Prabhu telling, no, don't leave me and go. I now understand material world is temporary and that's my abode. So this is actual realization, right? Do you understand? Theory is one and realization is understanding the concept deep. So this understanding of knowledge without knowing Sanskrit, without going through the 700 verses, right? Who is giving it? Who is giving it to us, right? I'm waiting for the answer. Who is giving it?
Krishna.
Yes.
Exactly, Krishna, right? So the same concept, right, is given to us by Krishna. And forgetfulness, everybody will ask, why forgetfulness? 2 things, any trauma we need to forget, right? There are certain things we need to forget. And this is a very important point. We need to also forget the fact that we need to forget the material world as a concept, right? So Sham Prabhu's attachment was only because of the fact he was removing every bit of material world. So forgetfulness is to forget the material world. That is also very important. Many times we relate forgetfulness as a negativity. Because we relate forgetfulness to forgetting the important things. Oh, I forgot the answer, right? So the moment you tell forgetfulness, the 2 things which comes is mainly your student life, right? 90% is your student life and 10% is your present life where we keep forgetting and keeping important things. Passport, I have no idea. So I still remember my husband, right? He made me search the entire house a few years back and locker, all of that we brought down, telling that the passport I gave you and I was so sure I don't have because I always keep it together in a particular bag. I hate searching, right? So sometimes you don't like something and do. So I don't like searching, so I am organized. I'm not basically clean or organized, but it's just that to avoid searching, you find a solution, right? So that's why. So I knew if even in my most worst day, I would keep it either in A place, B place or C place. That's for sure. So I went and searched everything. And after a week, he called and told, hey, don't search. Why? Because I forgot I submitted in the office. So this kind of forgetfulness people should not get. But why I'm saying is that whole thing, right? Remembrance is also given by Krishna. And this is very common, right? Do we all search at least once a month for our car key or our glasses or no mobile? Yes or no?
Yes,
Mataji.
It's a regular feature, Mataji.
Yeah. So thank you. So this is like a regular feature. For me, I think not the key, but the mobile, right? The mobile is what I keep searching because we take it and we don't know where we keep. We're not that organized there. So he says, I'm in the heart and I give all 3. And this is so important. So if someone says that I have bhakti, I don't have jnana, how? Because he gives the jnana, he gives the knowledge, right? So that is such a powerful verse. And this verse, I really like it a lot. I really feel, that the whole thing, right? So every time, when I lose out a little on memory, and I've heard a lot of them do after COVID, you have that speed or whatever, between the mind and mouth, there is a light lag. This verse really says, this is one thing which I want to tell. How does Vedas help? Vedas come handy in the situation, it's like handy. So you have this money called the reserve money. Mommy used to tell, keep this reserve money, it will be very useful when you're small. And many will not follow, but we used to keep it. And we really know that reserve money has come on very desperately. Either we are feeling so sick and we need a tablet, or we are so thin, or we need a vehicle to catch. Have you all experienced this? Yes or no? Everybody talking about money became silent. Yeah. So reserve money is so important, and is what we learned when we were small. So that is how this Vedas are so important. We don't know the value. Many tell it increases memory and all that. That's fine. But the fact is they come handy. They are the guide, right? So when do we need someone the most? When we are in trouble, right? A friend in need is a friend in need is what we've read, I think, from what, LKG, 3 years old or 5 years old. So he's a true friend. So these Vedas are not anything else or anyone else. It's Krishna himself. So it's not the Veda which is there in the mind. It is Krishna who is just coming in the form of Paramatma. You get it out as Vedas, and he is speaking to you. So that is why Vedas become important. Krishna becomes maintainer, and this is the 16th mantra also, right? Pushanikasya yama surya prajapatya yuasmin samurateja tate rupam kalyana tamo tate pashyanti yo aso purushaha yu aso asmi. Hare Krishna, what is the benefit of such a conception of life as given in this verse? Right? So the sun, moon, fire, electricity, everything, right? So we all know, anyone who has common sense will tell that electricity, right, and energy, and the energy is originally drawn from sun, even if it is not solar energy. Even if it is not solar energy is direct, but electricity is indirectly coming from sun, right? So we all very well, right? So the Lord holds the earth and gives vegetables. So we saw this, right? Moon gives vegetation. So I got a little curious and I started digging. I later understood that, Shashi, the moon is a cause of vegetation. So we know certain things, like, right? So there are some flowers which blossom in the night, and early morning you'll see them completely bloomed, and then they don't even live to see the day. So that is what we've been thinking, and we know. But actually, science has proved that moon play a very vital role in the vegetation. It's right. So that is what they are nourished by moonshine, which comes from the Lord. Today, I came across a very nice statement, right? When the Sanskrit scientists were telling, I don't believe because I have knowledge, right? So what is Vedas? So trying, what does science mean? Science means research, right? Research means you want to know something which you don't know. You have to know, right? Research is nothing but you try and know something, or explore means what? You try to know something which you don't know. Not stop something from knowing, right? So what do the scientists so-called do? They, in the name of knowing something, stop listening, right? Vedas give knowledge. What are they supposed to do? They can probably understand Vedas and work on the Vedas. Instead, they say, no, I don't believe in it. It's not your belief. Science is about hearing from all sides and analyzing and proving which is right. When they are so close-minded, that is why there is a beautiful proverb, a statement which says, a little science takes you away from God, and a lot of science takes you close to Krishna, right? So that's so important. So if you see great scientists, they will really take you close to Krishna. And when talking about scientists, I request, we started our 18 days Bhagavad Gita course yesterday. Mohandas Prabhu, please post the registration links in not that batch, this batch, 8 p.m. batch, all the batches, because registration is still open, and I request each one of you to forward to anyone, Muslim, Christian, college group, school group, please forward everywhere, and we'll see how many of them would want to hear. We don't know, because we've had Christian devotees, we've had Muslim devotees. We don't want to become sectarian, so we will forward it to everyone. So Krishna is the maintainer of the material world, so that we saw. So what happens, Krishna, and this is what I was telling, right? So there are 4 types of food, right? Swallowed, I told this, chewed, licked. Yes, I think I missed this, right? I said some, but then licked, right? So the ice cream, how did I miss that? The most favorite delicious thing, right? Ice cream. So all this is by Krishna, who is putting the fire in your belly. So even there he is maintaining. So you see, how 11, 12, typically 12, he is maintaining the cosmic world, and he's also maintaining you inside, right? Which we saw. So he's in the heart. So we saw this. Can you tell me which sloka, which chapter we read where Paramatma is in everybody's heart? in which chapter? Of course, I don't expect you all to answer, but I'm just trying it out. It's a Bhakti Shastri level question. This we have read in Bhagavad Gita in a chapter where it's the same Paramatma, everybody's heart. I'll give you one more clue. Somebody sees equally, and in everybody's heart that Paramatma is present, and that person is the Dhira. So where did we read this? Someone that is a learned person. We are talking about knowledge, right? So the one actual knowledge is someone who can see this. So, can anyone tell? You can take a guess. Hare Krishna. Any guesses?
Some Samadarshanaha.
You're right. Please repeat.
Andina Samadarshana, something like this. So,
Very nice. Very nice. Yes, Hema Mataji.
chapter 3.
Yes, Manal. Yes. Yes, Supriya. You're right. Samadarshana. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Brahmanaste Suni Hastini. Suni Chaivas Papa Keva. Pandita Samadarshinaha. Correct. So where did we do? Where did we read this? Very beautiful. Now you understand how Vedas suddenly link the word. Ekadasi is tomorrow for Chennai. I think Chennai, Coimbatore. I'll just check and tell you. I think, but Chennai it's tomorrow. That I know.
Yes, Mataji.
But there is some confusion, Mataji.
There is a lot of confusion this time, but Ekadasi is 13th tomorrow for Chennai.
Yeah,
but
Vaishnava calendar, it
tomorrow.
says
Just give me
tomorrow.
1 second. At the end of the class, remind me. I will just have a look on the cities and I can tell you. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for the heads up. So this one, which chapter is this coming? Or broadly tell me which module, first module, second module, third module. So this is in the first module, it's 5th chapter, right? 5th chapter is where it comes. Right? So who is the compiler of Vedas? Who compiled Vedas?
Krishna.
Vedavyas.
Who?
Vedavyas. Vedavyas.
Vyasadeva.
Vyasadeva.
So Vyasa is none but incarnation of God. So he is the compiler and he is the knower of Vedas. So that's what it is. Vedanta Krit Vedavit Evacha. So he is knower, he is a compiler, it means Krit, and Vit is knowledge, right? Vidya. So this is with this we will come to the end of the section C, and we are entering the last session. Hare Krishna. Any doubts so far? Any doubts?
Yeah, can you please repeat the previous one, last one, Veda Krit Veda? This is the
Veda Krit and Veda Vid. Veda Krit means someone who compiles, right? Like how you go and write your exam. You're the writer of the exam, right? So he compiled. He compiled the Vedas. Vid means unlike us, we just write the exam and we won't remember what we wrote. He is a knower of Vedas. So it's not that he just compiled, but he also knows everything of what he is writing. So that is what it means. Hare Krishna. So I am going to a quick run on your on the 10th. Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. I'm just going to share the screen. Right. So I'm going back. It's a quick revision. So this one is the 10.8, right? Hare Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavo makta sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Hare Krishna. Please read the translation.
I am.
Krishna. Yeah. I am the
please
source
go
of all visual and material worlds.
Please go ahead.
Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional services and worship me with all their hearts.
So beautiful. And this is the Sambandha verse, which means that it establishes the relationship, right? So he says, I am the spiritual and the material world. Everything comes from me, and whoever is wise, right? That means a devotee is the one who's wise. Okay. And how does he become a devotee? By engaging in devotional service. worships with all hearts. That means he's understanding his relationship, that he's a part and parcel of Krishna. So this phrase establishes the sambandha, right? So this is sambandha. Next one is abhinaya. So we will see that. So this one talks about, one second, the purpose, right? So let's see 10.9. Hare Krishna. Matchitta matgata pranam bodayante parashparam katayanti cha mam nityam tushtanti cha ramanti cha. Translation.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my services, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Thank you so much. So right, the process, purpose, what do they do? The purpose of life is only Krishna. What is the process they follow? It's only right. So it talks, we saw Samandha relationship, we saw Abhijayan, and then we are going to see the next verse, which is the destination, Prayojan. So Prayojan is the destination, the goal, right, Krishna? So 10.10 and 10.11 both are the goal. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajanta priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. To those who are constantly devoted to servicing me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
So do you understand the journey? Now we have gone to the destination, right? So so what is the sambandha? You understand the superior power, right? The spiritual and the material world are from me, and therefore you become a devotee and worship me through devotion, right? So you know the relationship, sambandha. Sambandha, that's a starting. Abhijay, right? So what is the thing? It's the process. What do you follow? Right? So you follow devotion service, the whole process. And prayojan means destination. So if you do that, what happens? You can come. Destination, we always tell, right? Where does the bus take me to? Where do you want to go? Destination. So that's clear. And 10.11 also is destination, and he gives clarity on how, right? Tesham evanukam partam aham ajnanatham tamaha nasayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhashvata. Hare Krishna.
To show them special mercy, I dwell in their hearts, destroyed with the shining lamp of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance.
Hare Krishna. Can you relate this to the 15.15? He says, knowledge, right? There we say that with the light of knowledge, right? Knowledge, remembrance, right? So he's clearly telling how he gives the knowledge, because what is ignorance? It is absence of knowledge is ignorance, right? Simple. When do you call someone ignorant? When someone does not know studies. The moment you teach him, what happens? He becomes non-ignorant, right? He becomes knowledgeable. Same way, darkness is lack of light. So what? So Krishna does that. So this is also important. I think because the first three we already chanted, this sloka we left. Now that we are on page, can I have someone to chant this sloka also, so that it's...
Mataji, sorry, can you please repeat those four purpose, Mataji? Relationship, sambandha, purpose.
Sorry?
Can you repeat the four shlokas?
Okay, it is sambandha means relationship.
Okay, purpose.
What? The purpose, yeah, process, purpose, both, and prayojan, destination, goal.
Prayojan and
Association,
destination.
Prayojan. The destination.
Last one.
That's what three. Both 10.10 and 11 talks about prayojan, the destination. This is more like destination, but how he did, na? How did he do? How did Krishna give you the destination? By learning, okay, I'll reach him. How? Always we have this doubt, no, how? So that how he is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So one of you all chant this, please.
Tesham evanukam partham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashyam ya atma bhavasto gnanadipena bhasvata. Hare Krishna. Your voice is breaking, Mataji.
No, few of you all chant it. I never spoke.
Tesam evan anukam partham aham ajnanajam tamaha nasayam atma bhavasthato jnanadipena bhavas. Bhaswata.
Hare Krishna, very nice. Come on, someone.
Hare Krishna. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashyami atma bhavastho jnanadipena bhaswata. Hare Krishna.
So we'll go back. Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So back to our presentation. So we saw this, right? So we're going to do a similar one, not exactly same, but it's the same three. This is called 3 shloka. So that's called Chatur Shloka. And this 3 shlokas are 16, 17, 18. So we will see the content here. So you can read. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. There are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every entity is called infallible.
Shara, Akshara, right? Shara fallible, Akshara does not fall. So this is talking about only us. It's like our Jivatma. So there are 2 categories of Jivatma. One in the material world, we tend to fall. Fallible means tend to make mistakes, fall, and that's why we fell down to the earth or wherever we are. And there is one more set of people who are above this, right? Infallible. So infallible are set of people, they are in the spiritual world because they are not bound by the 3 gunas. They are in which stage? What guna are they in the spiritual world?
Goodness.
Shuddha Sattva? Shuddha
Very nice.
Sattva.
Yes, Vishuddha Sattva, right? Suddha Sattva state. So they are so pure and they are infallible. They are so pure and they are uncontaminated and they are so perfect, right? So that is the infallible state they are in. So that's a special mercy. And in the spiritual world, every entity is called infallible, right? Every entity in the spiritual world will be so perfect and it will be infallible, right? So that's the speciality of this particular spiritual world, because not a person over there falls, and they are so pure in conscience and they are in Suddha Sattva. So once somebody goes there, they never come back. So we all, once we go there, we permanently there. So we do not have this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. Whereas here we just saw we have been seeing, right? That's the entire chapter, banyan tree. We've been jumping from one banyan tree to another. And so this is the big issue which we will be facing. So this is the challenge, right? So fallible tree. So the next. And 15.17 is, besides the 2, there is greatest living personality. That is the Lord himself, who is infallible. Right? So we have 3 people, right? One is Jivatma, another one is Paramatma, the Lord, of course. So these 2 are there, fallible, infallible. Over and above that, we have Lord, right, who has entered the world. We all know the expansions, right? We all have read the expansion, and if you all don't know, we can still revise. Again, who has entered these worlds for maintaining them, right? He is also not. So does everyone know the story of the 60,000 wives, how Krishna got? Yes or no?
No, Mataji.
Heard, but I didn't really
Sorry?
remember. I heard the story, but I don't remember the Rakshasa name and everything.
No problem. I will tell you the story. And before that, how did he enter the material world? I just thought I will give you a glimpse. Right? So first, we will go to Goloka Vrindavan. So in Goloka Vrindavan, we have Krishna. So that we are clear. From Krishna comes first expansion, Balram. Okay. From Balram, there are 4 expansions which come. All this is in Goloka Vrindavan. Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, and Vasudeva. Now this Sankarshana is called Mula Sankarshana, right? So it is all in Goloka, right? So this particular Sankarshana enters now Vaikuntha. So in Vaikuntha, who is there? Narayana is there, right? So Narayana again expands into 4. Thankfully, the names are same. Again, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, and your Vasudeva. So this second Sankarshana is called the Maha. So now this so far is spiritual world. Now this Maha Sankarshana enters, comes out and enters the causal ocean, Vraja river, Vaja ocean. So that is the Maha Vishnu, right? He is also called Karno Dakshayi Vishnu. So from here on, Karno Dakshayi Vishnu has multiple universes Inside huge universe, he enters as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from his stomach, navel only, Brahma is coming. And from Brahma, a lot of creations are coming. And from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, again he expands as Paramatma. Kshirodakshai Vishnu enters each other. So you're clear. So that is what is mentioned here, that he has entered into these worlds and is maintaining. Right? So Krishna is entering. So that is a speciality. And this is a story where Krishna and Satyabhama, both of them go. So if there is any war or anything, Rukmini is supposed to be very soft. So everything, a warrior dress is always Satyabhama, right? So there is this demon, Asura, and you're going to tell me the name of the Asura, who had, kidnapped the 16,000 princesses, daughters of all the kings of various places, of all the Kshatriya. Now, Krishna's job was to go and save them. Now, he went and fought. It's a nice story. And what happened? He went there and he, literally got all his weapons out and he finally killed them. And when he had to take them and return them to their parents, the girls said that the concept is a girl gets, whatever, she is there as a child under the protection of the father, and in the absence of the father, the brother. And then on her death, on her marriage, she goes to the husband's place. And on the death, after she dies, she goes to the grave. So this is the process, right? So even if she comes to the parents' house, she will come with her husband. I think that's still followed in North, right? So they are very particular that the girl husband also comes, especially, in smaller parts, they follow all this. So we all, in the name of high class, we don't care, right? You're coming or not, forget it here. I'll be independent life. So that's how our styles have become. But this was not so. So these girls go back to the father, they won't allow her because she's already been kidnapped and they've all stayed in somebody's house. Therefore, they say that the only scope is they don't have a choice and they have to go to the grave. Once they step out of the father's place, they do not have an entry back. So, and this is also indirectly their wish. Because when they were all small, they used to do Durga Puja. Right? They used to pay Shiva, Durga, all of them, because they wanted Krishna as their husband. And their wish is fulfilled now because then Krishna marries all the 16,000 wives. So who are these 16,000 wives? We make fun, and that is why we say Srimad Bhagavatam. The 10th chapter has description of all this, and we have to read this only after we finish 9 cantos. The 10th canto has 9 cantos. Each canto has so many chapters. So after the finishing the cantos, only we should go there to the 10th, because many think in a very lucid state, but they are none but the Krishna came in the Dwapara Yuga. Prior to that, Treta Yuga. What happened is Rama had been to a forest and there were a lot of rishis who were doing a lot of pujas and all that. And that time, correctly, what happens is Hanuman comes. So Krishna, Rama, is so excited, and he hugs Hanuman. So that time when they see, they're so excited, right? So they have this Madhurya kind of feeling. They, are so impressed with Rama. And Rama says that this time I can't marry anyone beyond Sita. But as I come back in the, when Krishna avatar, which is my Vishnu incarnation, they're all Vishnu's expansions, right? When they come, now what happens is very beautifully, you're most welcome. You can all be born and I will marry. So that's a word he gives, and that's how we get 16,108 wives. And he gets everyone married, and each of them have a separate palace, and he takes care. So many of them make fun, right? Krishna has so many wives. What kind of a god he is? No. First, can you even lift a Govardhan? You'll forget about lifting the carrying a tumbler for more than 3 seconds. We can't balance in the first case even for a second, and hold it beyond 10 minutes, right? So this, this is what is the story, and this is a very beautiful story, and this is also there in the Krishna book. So you all can read. So this is a pastime, and this is what it talks about, right? This is the greatest living personality, and he enters the world and is maintaining. 15.18 Yasmacharam atitoham Sharadapi chotamah atosmi loke vadecha Rakitaha Purusottama. Hare Krishna.
Because
Please.
I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. Hare
So
Krishna.
he is very clearly saying that I am both beyond the fallible and infallible. Though we say he is infallible, but he's beyond that, right? Because there is this concept of the Mayavadis who say that after the death, you will merge with Krishna. So that's why they follow Ashtanga Yoga. But the merging does not happen. That is why if you see, they are very clearly explaining there are 3 categories of people. He has not said even once there is only 2 categories. Oh, right. Otherwise, he would have told there is one which is fallen, another one who is not fallen, who is great. They will come. Because if Krishna is fallen, then how can Maya come and attack Krishna? Right? So if we are all gods, technically we should be superior, right? We should have the memory, we should be able to control, and Maya cannot affect us, but that's not the case. So that's why Krishna is making it clear, I'm beyond the fallible, and the infallible, because I'm the greatest. I'm celebrated in both the worlds, which means material world and in the spiritual world, and in the Vedas as supreme person. So he very clearly says, so this is the thing, there are 2 kinds of people. Fallible. So our relationship, Sambandha, is clear. What are we? Whether we are fallen and separate, or whether we are infallible and go and live with them, right? So it's a relationship. And when we are in infallible, non-fallen state, we know what relationship, and we will worship Krishna or have a relationship with Krishna in one of the 5 rasas. What are they? Which is one of the 5 rasas?
Vatsalya rasa.
Vatsalya, okay. We have to go and learn this. When we go to Goloka, when they say your rasa is this, you should not be asking someone to take us theory class there. Then they may say that you are not, you go and learn theory and come if they send us back. So what are the 5 rasas?
Vatsalya rasa, Madhurya rasa.
Okay, very nice. 2 rasa.
Dasya rasa.
Sorry?
Dasya.
Dasya rasa, very nice.
Sakhya rasa.
Sakya.
Okay, so 4 you have told.
Shanta rasa.
Shantaras. Thank you so much. So nice. Thank you. Shantaras, Dasyaras, right? Sankyadas, and 2 more, which is Vatsalya, parental, and Madhurya, which is conjugal. Supreme soul, Krishna, is the master of both. Right? So here they refer as Paramatma, right? Directly. He is the greatest personality, enters the 3 worlds and maintains them. So this is very clearly the process, the procedure, how he maintains, everything is there, and how we should disconnect ourselves is mentioned here. The last sloka is I am the supreme soul, very clearly. So can you see there is a indirect phase and a direct phase, right? So I will be telling you all, that there is a rule in ISKCON that whoever is teaching should finish level 3. So the speaker will be level 3 speaker, right? That is indirectly I'm talking. It may be me, but I'm telling you. But finally, when I introduce myself in your first chapter, I will say, hey, I'm going to be the speaker, and I have crossed level 3. So that you can see here. Here, Krishna tells as a third party, right? The supreme soul, he is a supreme master. He addresses as on a third party reference. Here he is clearly Christ, because some fellow will come and tell you, someone you told is the supreme soul, but you never told it's you. So he is closing that, also telling Krishna, I am the supreme soul. So the first level, right? The first is that there are 3 levels in English, right? What do you say? I, you, and they. So here he is talking about I. And in Vedas as the supreme person. So this is called the 3 Stroka Gita. So we also see that Devadas and demigods, all of them are worshipping him. Who is he? Who is he? Krishna, who is he?
Kshirodakashaya Vishnu.
Thank you so much. You gave me the answer directly. Kshirodakashaya ocean. And what ocean is this?
Causal ocean.
Kshirodakashaya sits in which ocean? What ocean?
Milky ocean.
Ocean
Milk
of milk.
Kshiram.
Milky
Yeah,
Kshiram
milk
means
ocean.
milk.
So here Brahma is praying, and this is a very important point. We saw in the 11th chapter that in the Virat Rupa, we saw that visuals, right? We saw Krishna in his four-handed form, and then in his 16-handed, in his two-handed form, right? Prior to that, he showed Virat Rupa. So now people, after that, the 12th chapter evolved. Which one should we pray? So now what is happening is we always feel Brahma is great, and definitely he is, and he's in the topmost line of this banyan tree, and he has access only to the four-handed form, and that too mostly it's the audios. It's not visual, it's only audio. So they hear, it's only through meditation Vishnu speaks to them. The chance of him seeing him is very rare. On top of it, right? So even otherwise, so if you see, he's talking to the Paramatma, right? Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. And on top of it, he has, even if they get to see, they only see this Vishnu. They do not have a chance to see the two-handed form. In fact, Vishnu himself does not have a chance to see that two-handed form, right? So this is what happens. And I will tell you, this is a nice story of Vishnu, right? Hare Krishna. So I will tell you this, I'll share the story of Arjuna and Krishna. For a long time, I was not able to talk to you about the two heroes, right? So there is this Brahmana who, all his kids are dying, one after the other. All his children are dying. And the Brahmana will come to Arjuna for, saving the child. So, Kshatriya's job is to save the Brahmanas. He basically is a ruler, right? So he's protecting. Vaishyas also have the protection of the cows become the prime thing. But for Kshatriya, the Brahmana, anyone under his citizenship, any citizen, including animal, it becomes his duty. So he tells the Brahmana that I will take care. I will ensure that, Yamadharma Raja or anyone does not cause any harm. And he says, how do I trust? Because it's going on. He says, no, if I'm not able to keep up that promise, I will, finish. Then my purpose of life is waste. Therefore, I will end my life. So, every time Arjuna will do this commitment, every time, he does not have any anxiety because Krishna is there. And every time Krishna's BP only will go up, right? Because Krishna's anxiety, oh my God, this Arjuna started this fire walk again, right? So, so what happens is, he immediately goes ahead and tells, okay, and he looks for the child. He takes care of the child. And again, the child is gone, right? So Arjuna is so upset and he says he has to burn himself. But then what happens is Krishna says, wait, I will know where it is. And he takes him. And he says, let's find the child. So they go on a complete speed. All lokas they search, and Arjuna only searches, Krishna just accompanies everywhere. And finally they come to Vishnu, right? And Vishnu is smiling and he's having all the children. And Arjuna doesn't understand why, and Krishna is smiling. So Vishnu says that I never get a chance to meet you. I want to meet you myself. I was very curious. So I was not killing the children. I was kidnapping the child. And I know, Krishna, you will do anything for your devotee who is Arjuna. So I know this, the whole thing, right, was a part of my game to make, because I wanted to see you once. I just wanted to see your two-handed form darshan once. So Vishnu himself, took away the children and created the whole role play because he knows very clearly Arjuna will come in search. And since Arjuna has promised that in case he dies, in case he can't find the child, he will burn himself. Krishna won't leave him alone and he will come along with him. So he said, I have a great opportunity to meet the two heroes, and I have a greater opportunity of meeting my Krishna, who is a two-handed form. So that is why the two-handed form of Krishna is so rare that even for his own Vishnu Tattva, who is Vishnu, is not able to see his two-handed form. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Right? So why I'm going back to the class? Yeah. Now this one, we all know this is Padma Puran, where Rama songs. Let me chant that. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorami Sahasranana Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanami Shri Rama Nama Varanami Om Nama Iti. So Shiva is telling on a very busy day like Ekadasi. Tomorrow is Ekadasi, as I told. So he says that on a very difficult day, you can go ahead and chant Rama's name thrice. That is equal to 1,000 names of Vishnu. Okay, now I was sharing this, and there was one devotee who asked me, ma'am, then I don't have to tell Vishnu Sahasranamam, I can daily chant Rama's name. I said, yes, you can. Just like how you daily give noodles like a shortcut, right? Can you give daily noodle? It should be an emergency tool, right? Daily you cook noodle, 2 minutes, what will happen? So like that, it's, of course, we can't compare that with the noodle. But what I'm saying is, what you have to say, it should be used as a means, and it should not be used as an end, right? So when you are short of time, Yes, you can replace all this. But the best replacement and the best shortcut mantra is your Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Right? So that is the easy way. Oh, Krishna. So, we saw great devotees actually praying on the about Krishna. Also, she asks Shiva, who's the greatest person who we should meditate on. So he says again in Padma Purana, right? Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasma parataram devi tadiyattam samarcharam. That means aradhanam sarvesham. Of all the aradhana, sarvesham means everything, aradhana, right? Vishnu aradhanam param, right? Vishnu Aradhanam Param. Param means highest, right? Vishnu's Aradhana, right? Praying on him is the highest. Tasmat Saraswaram Devi. But higher than that, there is something, right? Which one is that? Is worshipping that is Aradhana, prayer, taking care of the devotees, right? So Aradhana for the devotees, right? Samarchanam. So the devotees of the Lord are even greater. So that is what Shiva is telling. So remember mainly this to the so-called Vaishnavites. Many of them tend to insult the demigods and Shiva. Please don't do it. They are the hardcore devotees of Krishna, right? So if you see a Shiva temple, don't close your eye and run away and all. You can pay obeisances because he's a devotee, right? So you don't have to ask him. Don't go with a shopping list, but you can always go with the vision of going to Guru. I will be more than happy to tell, right? Which I told, right? Aradhana, Vishnu Aradhana Param, that particular one. So now we finished the 3 shloka. We know the destination and we will move on to 15.19. Hare Krishna. Yomam evam asammudo janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajante mam sarvabhavena bharata.
Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, just 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So what are we talking about? Yomam. Okay, so therefore, whoever knows me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service. So he says, whoever knows me, right? Anyone who knows me so well without even doubting is to be understood as a knower of everything. So beautifully he is explained. So knower of everything means, what are we actually talking here? The entire concept of Krishna. See, let me link this to the 8th chapter. In the 8th chapter, you saw something. Whoever thought, whatever they thought at the time of death is what they will achieve, right? That body is what they'll achieve. That is one. So therefore, what does he conclude? He said, Tasmam Saraswatam, right? So therefore, think of me. Anushmaran Yudhyacha, Mam Arpita Mano Buddhir, Mame Vaishyasya Asamshaya. Therefore, Tasmat Sarvesh Kaleshu Mam Anushmaran Yudhyacha, My Arpita Mano Buddhir, Mame Vaishyasya Asamshaya. Always think of me without a deviation and just stay on that. This is so beautifully explained, right? So he's telling that every time you have to keep thinking of me without even a doubt. This is so beautifully explained. So why am I bringing this up is in connection to this. That time he is telling what should be done for becoming my devotee. Today you see this stone, he is telling what my devotees are doing. He's there, he is giving a rule. Here he is telling the summary, right? He is talking about people. So he says, whoever knows me as a Supreme Person without doubting is to be understood as a knower of everything. Therefore, he engages himself in full devotional service. So he beautifully says that he will engage, in the full devotional service. Is what he very clearly is telling. Right. So this is something which I thought I can share with you. Hare Krishna. So beautiful. Can you feel this? Right. Like he says, he is coming to a conclusion. Right. He's talking about a typical rule. You should do this. You should do this. You should do this. Here, can you relate? There, it's like giving us instruction. Today, he is like taking us along. He says, okay. So therefore, the person. So right now, we are in a state where we've already started becoming a devotee and started doing devotion. The only difference is we are not there completely, but we've started the sadhana. So from the rule book, we have shifted to executor. Right now, we will become automatically bhava and prema. When you keep doing sadhana, you will reach the perfection state. So 15.20, this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavor will know perfection. So he says very clearly, O sinless one, it is so disclosed that whoever is able to understand this, they become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection, right? So they will know so well, so perfectly they will know, is what he is beautifully explaining this also. So that's the story here. And all he's trying to conclude is Veda is automatically known to the person here, right? So the person who is going to only follow Bhakti also automatically know. That's why he's telling this is the most confidential part of the Vedic tree. And he's addressing Arjuna as a sinless one, which is very important because every time he is telling, right? So Krishna very clearly tells Arjuna is the most purest and the absolute sinless person, and he is so perfect. And he is saying that this is what I understood, and I'm explaining this to you. Whoever is able to understand this will become wise, and not only will become wise, but he will reach perfection. So he's concluding this chapter so beautifully, and this is the most confidential, right? So he's put this, and that is the summary. So the 4 shlokas and the 3 shloka, all of them finally talk about the final destination, which is Goloka Vrindavan. So with this, I'll end the chapter, and Hare Krishna. Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All of you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, all of you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes. So Ekadasi doubt you all have. Ekadasi for Chennai is tomorrow, sorry. That is Wednesday. That is the 13th. But I do not know which location you are in. Give me 1 second. Meanwhile, please keep asking the doubts. I keep checking.
Actually, Mohandas Prabhuji sent one message, Mataji, in which he has given some places and its timings.
Yes. So very nice. So you got it. But someone asked, right? So for Chennai, it is 13. And we will break the fasting. So that's clear, right? Yeah. So that's clear. So meanwhile, I will tell you when the other dates come. So Prabhu has already shared it. Okay. We will follow the Vaishnava calendar, not the sheet calendar in your house, because there the process is different.
Ekadasi.
Yeah. Someone also has the same doubt. Yeah. So that's the thing. So I can go ahead on. So I'll tell you. So Prabhu, Mohandas Prabhu, where have you shared?
In our chat, Mataji.
Oh, chat.
Yeah.
I'm checking WhatsApp.
No. Yeah, in the WhatsApp only. I'm sorry. In the
WhatsApp only.
Yeah, WhatsApp only. The group WhatsApp, and also shared in your. Yeah, you can check.
Very nice. Very nice.
Because the confusion arose because there are two.
Very, very beautiful. Very neat. So he's covered all area. I am seeing so many WhatsApp messages this time, and I'm wondering why there's so much confusion. Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah, because there were 2 dates.
Yes.
And that's
absolutely. So someone messaged me. I started fasting today. I'm in Delhi. I said, no, hold. I will forward. So, so handy. So, so any other doubts? No subject doubt? I'm glad that, see, this is called, can you see the Abhinaya changing? So the entire process is changing, right? We are now moving into just doubt session to execution session, right? So this is sadhana. Hare Krishna. Any other?
So with this chapter, Mataji, we have completed the Bhagavad Gita. Rest of the 3 is only revision or this thing like that.
No, Prabhu, we are in the 15th chapter. We have not completed Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Mataji, but in one of my reading, I learned the actual Bhagavad Gita is up to this.
Prabhu, last line I lost. Actual Bhagavad Gita is?
Up to this chapter only. That is 15.
Oh, no, Prabhu. Tomorrow chapter becomes very important because now he is very beautifully, he is explained the issue, right? So we know we have to get detached and go. 16th chapter is important because we need to know how we can get detached. See, everything is an improvement, right? He's told, okay, I will give you a, so I'm telling you, Prabhu, very clearly, you do scuba diving, undersea, you can go. I'm giving you an oxygen cylinder, I'm giving you mask. And remember one thing, you breathe like this and you do like this, all this I'll give you. Okay, I'll give you an oxygen cylinder. Can you get into it? You can't, right? You have to understand the process in detail. So 16th chapter is going to talk about the 26 divine qualities, and you will also have the 6 asuric quality. We are reading time and time out many times the divine quality. If you see 13th chapter, we've read 20 divine qualities, right? And same way, even in Isha Upanishad, mantra 10, we will read 18 divine quality. Here we read 26 divine quality. So they are slowly is, he's telling everything should be within this. And the demonic quality only 6. Only 6. But the next chapter is a very funny chapter, right? Because the next chapter is funny because we will have excitement when we see a divine quality. I have this quality, this quality. We see demonic quality, we will have shock. Oh yeah, I have this. Oh my God, I'm a demon. Those kind of things. So you start, as you go to the last 6 modules, there's so much of jnana, but you can relate it to you. You get what I'm saying? You can relate. So when I'm talking about this mode of passion, in the 14th chapter, it's more like theory. But after the 14th chapter, did you all experience this? Because I thought whenever I go to work or office or even in family, I see people who are very different, both extremes, right? Goodness or extreme ignorance, right? Then I understood, oh, they are so good, right? And we are still not that good. So we are not able to understand them. Right, I did talk to you about a friend of mine who was ophthalmologist, right? So when she was inquiring so much about my daughter or me, I was thinking, why is she asking? Is there a problem in my eyes? And then I understood, okay, she's very good, right? She's so concerned. Being a doctor is a profession, but personally being concerned is so good, right? And I also know someone who's been in the spiritual world for, it's not spiritual world, spiritual region, so long, and would always keep telling that I love you, you're so nice, I love you, and all that. But this is more of words, right? And who do exactly opposite, who will go and talk, who will ensure the person cannot grow up the ladder and all that. So there can be very contra views, and we don't understand, right? Every time when you meet these people, it's so heavy. You don't understand. You keep wondering why they do this. I'm so good to this person. I'm so nice to this person. Why is this person always pulling me down? Then you understand there is a mode of ignorance, which in fact would have started as mode of passion. Either you should cut it there and grow, or what happens is passion can lead you to ignorance, right? First time it becomes passion. Okay, I'm going to be the only person who's there. Then you tell, no, it's Krishna conscious, so everyone should grow together. But if the thought can come, but if the thought comes, see, Prabhu, look at this group. The whole group, when I told first time, right, Mohandas Prabhu is going to be there in the material world. So there are many Matajis who told, no, Mataji, we'll come back and take, right? And some of them said, we'll send a ship. Nobody told Mataji, why you bothered? We went there. Not a single person I heard that, yes or no. So this is the concept where if you are actually in devotion, we keep scaling up. But sometimes somebody may feel that, why this person anyway is not bothered to come, why are you breaking your head? That is mode of passion still. But if you get into execution, you're straight falling into mode of ignorance. Do you understand what I'm saying? So here, anyone here in the group ever thought, Mataji, I am doing so much rounds of chanting, right? Whereas we have Arun Prabhu, who's assuming, I'm guessing, relatively younger. right? And Prabhu, don't mind that. He looks like a very playful person. So Mataji, should we even take Arun Prabhu? Is he even qualified? Did any of y'all even think like that?
No.
No, Mataji.
Why?
No, Mataji.
Now Arun Prabhu is quickly looking at the mirror and setting his makeup right. So why? Because the thought flow is the mode of goodness. Can you see that, what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the first time when I have spoken in some classes, and I'm sharing this, is when I tell that if you're liberated, there are 3 generations which can be liberated. The first thing I have heard 2-3 devotees telling is, Mataji, what about people who are bad around me? They are so bad. If in the name of my brother or my cousin, will they also get liberated? Forget about 2 people who are bad. You are able to liberate 20 people who are good. Huh? You're getting, are you with me? Can you relate? Can you relate? Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell?
Yeah.
Sure, Smita. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So why I'm talking this is because look at the focus, right? Your focus is, if I'm coming and telling Mohandas Prabhu, I'm planning to get you an ice cream. Immediately Mohandas Prabhu should tell thank you. If he says, Mataji, have you bought ice cream for someone else? Did you buy a bigger ice cream for someone else? Don't you think it becomes comparative and you can never grow? Right? So these are things which is very important in spiritual life, because there is no competition. There is no age. There is no time in spiritual world. So it's very important that being humble is not just behaving humble. Being humble is being humble inside, right? So,
Humility.
yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead.
That is called humility, Mataji.
Yes, perfect. Prabhu. See, look, all Vedas, Veda with only we are having, all Veda with Veda Krits only we have. Yes, humility.
Yes.
Perfect word. So humility, right? Being humble inside. So I can tell anything. I can look at the team and tell that you're the best person, but there's no point in me telling it unless I mean it, right? Otherwise, people will know. For example, I have never had the opportunity to really appreciate Mohandas, right? And I'm not very verbal, right? But the kind of devotion and the kind of work and the kind of help he does is, I can't even thank him, right? I have never told Prabhu, you're so nice, you're amazing, right? You're superb and you're a fantastic person. Definitely not before him, right? But that doesn't mean, and that has not stopped him from doing it, because for him, his job or whatever he is doing is just doing it. There is no expectation on his part. So you see that mode of goodness there. So that's his humility, right? He doesn't expect, that's the mode of goodness. He doesn't expect anything in return. He doesn't care whether and he attends more. I don't know how he manages time. He's such a senior person. He has even health challenges. He's there in every 6 o'clock also he's there. By night 10 o'clock also he's there, right? And I have been such a, now if I think I can relate, how rude I am, that I have not even appreciated probably with my heart in front of him. I have done it behind, but I've never, even now I'm not actually doing it because he's there, but it's because I've told this whenever he's not there too. So why I'm saying this is because anyone in the mode of goodness don't expect, right? But if it's a mode of passion, what will happen is he will be looking for, are you appreciating me? Are you appreciating? Now, if some other admin comes, just in case, and does some work, and if I tell, okay, this admin is good, okay, Mohan Das probably is great, but someone good, he will feel insecure. He will feel, okay, should I put the admin down? Should I get rid of the admin because I'm on competition, right? This is a thought of passion. But then I have to lead is a passion. I have to put him down. I will destroy him, goes to ignorance. So can you see how someone can move from goodness to ignorance? And I'm taking exact example of people in the spiritual world. We have seen, not spiritual world, so sorry, in the spiritual team also. Because there what happens is they are all coming, all of us come with a mode of passion. Why? Because this is mode of passion. Earth is a representation of mode of passion. But what we should do is we should ensure, we should allow competition. And many times we will see people who will focus on their profession, right? I know people who are engineers and they'll say, of course, no doubt you can always relate me, right? So I can relate someone to my field. So I can relate someone who has a daughter more than a son, because I don't have a son, right? But I can relate to a girl more than a guy, right? Because we will have an influence, but that influence should not clutter our judgment. That is very important, right? Everyone will have an influence, but it should be, we should be, that is where equipoise will come. That's one more point. It should, once it starts crowding our judgment, then we will be stepping back and falling back. So these are little points which I thought I am telling you, because I may not have a great chance to connect you all again in level 3. But as you go up to level 3, as you know, the humility part should come, right? That's why it says, Chaitanya says so beautifully. You should tell me the shloka number. I'm going to sing it for you. Hare Krishna. Trinadapi suni chena tarodapi sahisnuna amanina madanina kirtaniya sadari. Which shloka is it? What is the meaning and which number? We read every day to do. Anyone, any guess who chanted at least? Don't tell my name. I only re-chanted. Who wrote this? Last month. At least Mohandas Prabhu, you should be telling me.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Final savior. So Prabhu, he said it's his third verse, and he says, Trinada Pishurishari. You should be more humbler than the grass, right? And more determined than a tree. Because humbler than the grass, because grass, even if you stamp, it will come back, right? It doesn't have any power. And very stern like a tree, you know your determination, right? So when you chant, you don't compromise and all that. But your humility wise, you will be very much like a grass. So that is the meaning, and it's the third shloka. Hare Krishna. So any other doubt? Next week we will meet the same time, but so that will be our 16th chapter. But for 17th chapter, which is 25th and 26th, I'm not there. Is it okay with you all if we do it on the 23rd and 24th, which is Saturday, Sunday morning?
Yes, Mataji.
Is that okay? Or I can do even on a Thursday, Friday. You all decide and let me know when I'm taking the class next week. Is that okay?
Saturday, Sunday is okay, Mataji.
Saturday, Sunday morning, because in case anyone wants to sleep and get up at 10 o'clock.
No.
Sure. So fine. So with that,
23rd, 24th, no, Mataji?
23rd and 24th. Prabhu, announce once I get a confirmation.
Yeah, please.
So that's fine. So thank you so much. So it will be either 23rd, 24th or 22nd, Friday, Saturday. One of that I'll confirm if I'm based on the travel. Yeah. So
and one more thing, before we close.
Yes, Prabhu.
You're mentioning so many things. I don't think I'm doing that much at all. Let me tell you that.
Prabhu, you are not to say, Prabhu. I have to say.
Hare Krishna, all Krishna's mercy, Mataji. Hare Krishna. And the association of all the devotees.
Yeah. So that's what I always tell. I use the word, I'm very lucky, but I should be actually using the word not luck. I should be using the word that Krishna's mercy. Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna for everyone. Hare Krishna to everyone. Have a great week. Anything else? Any other doubts? Okay, so we'll end the session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.